Hello again, Techno back with day 5 of the Christmas Advent Calendar unboxings. And today, as it mentions, the theme is VV. And what are two V's except for shape-wise a W? That's right, the first item that we're opening up today is the Futo PI re-release of Kamen Rider Double, Cyclone Joker. Now, this is a figure that I actually did get the original version of this when it came out for the SS Rider figures. But yeah, it took a tumble off my desk and the actual crest broke on it. I did glue it back together, but I mean, it's still not quite the same. So I did want to get a second one just for the sake of completionism. Also, I guess I'm missing a Gaia memory on mine too, come to think. I think he lost the Cyclone memory at some point. So anyway, yeah, it is a new double. All his accessories are further down, and let's take a look at what's in the bottom tray, which is the really interesting stuff. All right, so looking in the bottom tray, we have a whole bunch of hands. The Cyclone and Joker Gaia memories, which honestly I may just leave in the box. This awesome Futo PI stand, and there's some accessories that we need for displaying this. Yeah, I'm going to keep the Futo PI stand out because it's always nice to have a proper stand for figurates. But we've got we've got some cool scarf options in this one, and that was one of the things that actually made me want to get this again. We've got just the standard billowing scarf option here. Like, look at it glisten, look at it billow. And we've also got this giant oversized billowing scarf, which you know I'm going to be using the giant oversized billowing scarf because, I'm sorry, but giant oversized billowing scarf. Also, we got a whole bunch of hands in here. I think we all know I'm going to have to take a pointing one out for obvious reasons. But yeah, I'm going to leave Cyclone and Joker in there for now. I'll just zoom in, though, just so you can see just the printing on these. Like, look at the level of detail on these. Like, this is ridiculous detail that they did on those Gaia memories. And that's exactly why I kind of want to leave them in, because they are tiny. So, let's take this stuff out of the way. And let's get the scarf open. Now the scarf is just attaching using the standard figurettes port from looks at it. It feels like there's a wire in there, so that's good for posing. And it's a shiny material. Like very glittery, very cool. And I mean, yeah, like it's a giant oversized scarf. Like, how awesome is this? Giant oversized scarf. I'm just looking at the back of the box just to get some ideas and posing it. Yeah, it's got a wire running through it on both sides, so you'll be able to get some decent posing. Let's pick up double here. Yeah, for people who've not messed with this version of the toy, this figurettes line is very good. Let's do a quick close-up. Yeah, that is some gorgeous detailing on this guy. A nice metallic finish. The double driver is great. Yes, it does deploy as it does on the show. So you can actually, like, key in the Gaia memories. It's got the bit on the side there. Yeah, it's a little bit limited accessory-wise because double really doesn't have that many in terms of accessories until you actually upgrade to his different forms. Like, if you want a gun that's Luna Trigger, like that sort of thing. But yeah, for posability though, let's see. We've got standard neck stuff, fairly good. We got a bit of a butterfly joint here in the arms. Shoulder pad is on its own joint here if you look in here, so it can move along with the arm. It does move in tandem, but yeah, you can readjust it, make it look really good in posing. Like, yeah, this, let's see, we got double jointed elbows. We got the standard figurettes wrist. Let's see, we got legs. We've got Do these legs telescope down or not? But it doesn't look like it. We don't have metallic paint in this part here. I mean, that feels like a consequence, but like the actual spread of the legs, this is very good. It's very, very good. I'm just seeing if these pull down, because sometimes those things do, but oh, I guess it doesn't need to, because yeah, that is a really good range of motion for the hip there. Let's see, we got a ball joint at the torso there. Waist is also on a joint. Again, just appreciate all the detail on this thing. Like, yeah, so much sculpted detail, so much nice shiny paint. We got another double jointed knee here. Looks a little bit funny when it's posed out, but honestly, it's fairly well done. We got the standard thing for figure outs there, where they've got that. You got the ankle tilts. Like, it's a very good job of not breaking the sculpt while it's doing this. Like, that is the nicest thing that this figure is doing, I gotta say. But yeah, yeah, I'm going to swap out the hand for a minute there because I want to give him a pointing count up your sins hand. I mean, I think technically it's generally the other side that does that, but you know what? That's not the hand I pulled out, so that is going to be my cross to bear. Hands are a little bit tricky to get on. I probably quick edited that there, but let's see. Yeah, it feels very good as a toy. It looks really good. You can fiddle with it just to make the adjustment all the more. They're like, yeah, like it's not even just a butterfly joint in here. It's a full-on like ball socket that's in there. So yeah, you got some really good range of motion, like between all the posability. Yeah, no, this is gorgeous. Yeah, we got the stand here, although because it's figure art stand, right? This is figure arts, not Figma, so there's no actual stuff on the stand itself, which kind of sucks. Like, I would need to put an actual arm on that. But let's see, I've got that there, and let's pose out the cape a little bit. Again, cape is using a joint. Both of these pieces of the scarf are separately articulated. And I'm going to just plug it in back here. And let's see how I can get this to look in a way that is really badass and cool. And wow, that is not hard to do. I mean, yeah, this looks pretty cool already. I'm just, yeah, I guess since there's wires running through this, I can just play around a lot with this here too. Ugh. I mean, oh me, oh my. Like, it's just, oh my gosh. Like, you can just go to town with this thing in terms of proposing standpoint. Just create a whole dramatic swooping motion there. Like, goddamn, that just... I'm just gonna put this back here a little bit so that it, just to hide. The only real thing is that you notice the joint right there. That's like the most obtrusive thing on this. So that's why I'm just trying to pose this to compensate for the fact that that is like a very visible piece of real estate on this thing. I guess that if I had put the other hand in, then just through posing it, it would very much not be obvious that that's there. But yeah, no, these hold very well. It's a really nice Bugman figure. And as for the second thing that we're opening up right now, well, this video was called Victory. That's right, it's Transformers Victory Universe Galaxy Shuttle, part of the Velocitron Speedia 500 collection for Transformers Generations. These are Walmart exclusive figures, and this is really hard to fit in without knocking everything over in my Lightbox setup. So let's get this thing open. Now, this is a release that is all the more appropriate because, well, we are getting Star Saber in just a few short weeks. I'm looking forward to my Star Saber coming in, I know. I'm sure many other people are. And as I understand it, this release essentially exists because Transformers brand team member, lead member Mark Mayer remembered an anecdote when he was talking to former brand manager John Warden there about how they'd snuck the Galaxy Shuttle head on Astrotrain. So then they dug it up, found the proof, and sure enough, yeah, we got a Galaxy Shuttle toy. The designer notes that they have been doing on Instagram are quite frankly fantastic. I am incredibly thankful that the Transformers brand team, like all of them, like Sam, Mark, Evan, all of them are actively posting stuff on Instagram, just sharing little design tidbits and behind the scenes info about stuff that we've got coming up. Like, it really makes it all the more satisfying when we get those sorts of tidbits. Anyway, he is unboxed. We have Galaxy Shuttle out there. And we've also got in here a couple of other accessories, like his guns and his launch base. Now, the launch base is entirely an optional thing. As Galaxy Shuttle is a retool of Astrotrain, who was a triple changer, he came with a extra train car that could also turn into a platform. And that's actually one thing that Galaxy Shuttle has that the original Galaxy Shuttle did not have. Namely, he has the ability to actually become a train. And adjusting the frames so that I can actually fit everything in here and see his alt mode properly, here is Galaxy Shuttle in alt mode. As I mentioned, he has this little train caboose here that will open up into a launch bay. And we have this little bundle of joy that contains his weaponry. Astrotrain came with a crazy amount of guns with the Siege release. And yeah, Galaxy Shuttle continues that by coming with a crazy amount of guns. And, the main rifle as well, too, which is, meant to be Galaxy Shuttle's main rifle. So let's take a look at alt mode here. Well, it's an Astrotrain, that's for sure. It's a boxy space shuttle. It doesn't quite peg together up here, but you know what, whatever. But yeah, it's a very classic space shuttle colors. I mean, if you've ever mucked with the Astrotrain mold, it's a good toy. I mean, that's a subjective opinion, of course, but yeah, it's a space shuttle, and there's going to be a lot to talk about here. Yeah, like the train car, for instance, this folds out into a helipad that's meant to be like the launch pad for Galaxy Shuttle. Just folding this stuff out of the way. And I believe that it's meant to go like this. Yeah, because it needs to be able to plug in down here. Actually, no, it's got to be like this. Yeah, it's like this here. Here we go. Here, he is in launch bay mode. This is one of those features which can actually complement Skylinks pretty well. It should interact well with the Micromaster team there that we got in Galactic Odyssey. And what's really cool here is that we have this H sculpt in here on the actual toy that it's not obvious until you actually paint it out that there is a helipad H there, like the base in the original Micromaster bases. It's kind of cool, and it's one of those things that, combined with the head, it makes me suspect that, yeah, they were planning that subtly all along as well. Let me just the camera up here. You can see him on his space shuttle there. Yeah, he is on his launch pad there. It looks like mine has a little bit of scuffing here on the nose cone. I mean, that's one of those things that happens. I'm not going to rage about that. But let's go ahead and start transforming him. Yeah, as I mentioned, because this is the Astrotrain mold, this Galaxy Shuttle actually has something that the original did not have, which is a third triple changer mode to turn him into a steam locomotive. So let's see if I can remember how that works here. It's been a while since I've mucked with this mold, I will very freely admit. And I'm just trying to remember how everything is meant to store away. Yeah, I mean, the colors are very striking on this, though, I will say. It's a very nice deco. A very nice deco. Yeah, this folds in over here, I believe. These probably go there. I'm just trying to remember how all the locomotive parts go. I know that it essentially flips upside down in the process of becoming a locomotive too. I will probably need to look up some photo reference. But yeah, it has been a bit, but it's one of those weird things with Astrotrain where because of the nature of his transformation, I don't think that you're ever going to really be able to get a full-on, fully, truly perfect, perfect transformation toy. But you know what? When all things considered, oof, this thing is tight. Like seriously, like these are really tight. Yeah, you can hear all that clicking. Like this is really tight in terms of the joints and such. But yeah, like what I was saying though. Yeah, oof, that sounds painfully tight. But it is meant to be that tight. I guess it's just the mold tolerances and such. And I know I'm using the wrong word there. But yeah, it's one of those things with the Astrotrain mold that you really can't you really can't avoid the fact that no matter what you do, it is going to kind of just be a bit of a, well, it sort of looks like a train. Like, there's something that's going to have to compromise somewhere, and that's the same with a lot of the triple changers. And you can tell I'm clearly vamping for time here as I am transforming this guy out. But yeah, no, it is you can see though, this is a very involved transformation on this guy. Like, honestly, all things considered, I think that this one does the locomotive to, yeah, it's a mold that does the locomotive to Space Shuttle very well. And I mean, I think that it's even more striking on this Galaxy Shuttle mold here, as you can probably tell, because, well, quite frankly, look at the color change. Like, he is going from a white Space Shuttle with a lot of black highlights on it, and by the time this transformation is done, once we have him all set up, all rigged up, he is turning into a mostly black locomotive. Yeah, I mean, that is no mean feat. It's an impressive work of paint, just how the colors just change. With Astrotrain, it's always been kind of just like, gray shuttle, purple, other things, so it's not nearly quite as remarkable. And I know I'm doing something wrong here because I can still see his robot head. So I need to figure out what I'm transforming wrong. I should not be able to... Oh, I see. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. Okay. Again, this is what happens when you've not transformed a toy for a while. You make mistakes that in the transformation that... Right, this folds over. Oh, yeah, this is even better than I remembered. Yeah, like... It's funny looking at this toy here because, like, Galaxy Shuttle is something which... Yeah, as I mentioned, he did not have a steam locomotive mode at all because he just turned into a giant space shuttle. But this toy is very much... Well, the steam locomotive deco was not an afterthought on this toy. It's not really based on anything. It's just, let's make a black steam locomotive. And just look at all the color change. The white just all completely vanished. It's much more obvious than it was on Astrotrain that there was a color change because gray to purple is not nearly as pronounced as this whole process has turned out to be. I mean, it's not holding together super well, but I mean, I think some of that is probably just... Oh, right, of course, that's why. It's because I did a step I shouldn't have, and that was causing that to not close up. Yeah, so there we go. This, and then this folds down, I believe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there we have Space Shuttle mode. Sorry, not Space Shuttle mode. There we have Locomotive mode. And look at it. Yeah, this is gorgeous. It's a black locomotive. It's just stark black. Almost all of the white has disappeared in the transformation. And while this was not part of the original toy, well, quite frankly, I don't mind that this guy is a triple changer because we got a really nice looking locomotive. Like, this is a gorgeous space choo-choo. Like, oh my god. Like, he's not going to get displayed in this mode. He's going to be in robot mode most of the time, but I'm glad that they did not make this just like a cheap afterthought, and they actually put some TLC into getting the locomotive to look good. So, let's get him into the mode that he's probably going to live in for the rest of his days, the robot mode. Because he's going to go up on my Japanese G1 shelf. Yes, I do have a shelf for all the various remakes Japanese G1 guys that has like a spot carved out of it specifically for Victory Saber to go in. I don't know if that shelf is going to have room for Deathsaurus. I know like Galaxy Shuttle was a welcome surprise when that got announced as a, I need to find space for another thing now, I guess. But, yeah, let's see how this goes for the transformation. I mean, it should be fairly standard. I just need to make sure everything is pegging in properly here. He does have a little bit more hollowness than some of the Voyagers and Leaders, but he is also a triple changer, so he is doing a lot. And again, like the hollowness is because, well, he's got stuff that has to actually go in there. And there's not really a lot of room to put pieces there. Yeah, you can see the new his new face just sitting right there in front. It's gorgeous. He's got a great mug. I guess I didn't show the train car on the back of the train, but honestly, you're not really missing a lot. It basically just folds back up into the box that I showed originally. And then just plugs onto the back. But, yeah, let's see. This needs to lock in up here, like that. These fold down. And I've almost got the arms out. Forearms flip out. Stereo flips down, and yeah, I just need to turn these around, and wow, like, just wow, he has a very different look to him than Astro Train. It's all one of those things where it's just like, it's amazing what you can do with deco on a Transformers toy. It is always amazing just how much you can do with deco in terms of just completely changing up a figure so that it looks like an entirely new thing. Let's give him some guns now as well. Let's give him the black rifle, which I believe is the one that actually represents his rifle from Victory. And then we've got the red ones, which those also must be Victory colors for some of the weapons because, well, otherwise there'd be no reason to include red plastic. Like, he's got all these weapons here that are in red plastic. And they're the only thing that's in red plastic on this guy. Like, he's kitted out with a whole ton of weapons. Oh, and I forgot this step here, too. I forgot to turn those around. So yeah, there he is. There he is. And that means that we have more ports to work with too in terms of weapons to plug more 5mm port weapons into here. And oh yeah, he is just weaponized up to the wazoo. I mean, look at all those guns. And then we've even got this one over here, which I need to find a spot for still. I'll probably just plug it in back there. But yeah, look at him. He is gorgeous. Let's take a look at his fancy new face first. Like, oh, that is a marvelous head sculpt. That is a very striking head sculpt. It is just straight up Galaxy Shuttle's head. There's nothing else really it would really work as. Yeah, like, it always amazes me when you get Transformers repaints that manage to pull off looking like a character that the mold was never intended to be very well. Sometimes it's even to the point where the retool of the mold, the repaint, will actually look better than what the original intended release of the toy was. Like, look at Legacy Skids and Crankcase, for instance, where I think Crankcase very much outdoes Skids. And I guess to a lesser example, I mean, you also have stuff like Kickback and Ransack, where just the Ransack is really nice. So yeah, so we've got full shoulders here. I mean, these don't lock in super well, but I don't think they did on Astro Train either. But they don't really impede. We got double jointed elbows. We got swivels at the bicep. No wrist swivels, but again, that's common with the Transformers, the way they transform like this. Yeah, he's got hip skirts there. He's got full range universal joint motion. Yeah, those shiny silver painted thighs. Oh, yeah, no, this is a gorgeous toy. Ankle tilts. I kind of showed those off already. And then, yeah, you got the ball jointed head. And of course the wings. The wings do fold back a little more. And both these things are articulated, but you really don't need to fold the wings back. They're set far enough back that they're not really going to be impeding the arm range of motion all that much. We do have a waist joint as well, too. Like, really, this guy is gorgeous. This was a pleasant surprise. He's going to be out of scale with Star Saber, don't get me wrong, but hey, I mean, already, like, Victory Leo technically is out of scale with Star Saber as it is, just as a design compromise. But yeah, just to give him a bit more focus there. Yeah. Anyway, that is the releases for day 5 of the Advent calendar. That is today's unboxings. A pair of V's. VV Victory and Double. I am way too proud of myself for that word pun. Anyway, this is General Techno signing out, and look forward to day 6.